All of our mics. There we go. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Matt, the Helpful Home Inspector, back at you for another week of the Helpful Home Inspector Show. We're coming at you live from our studio up in Hartford, Wisconsin. Today, we've got a great show for you guys. We've got two great guys in here from Lifetime Radon Solutions, Delafield, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Right? Yep. Yeah, located out of Delafield. But they have a huge work area. You guys travel. When I looked it up last night, I'm like, you guys travel a lot further than I thought you would. So Lifetime goes all over the place. We're going to get into some of the stuff with them. But if you have not seen our show before, we would love to have you be part of our subscribership. So make sure you hit the subscribe button down the bottom. Hit the bell notification to let you know when we have new stuff coming out. And then if you like this stuff today, give me a thumbs up. We'd love to hear from you. Also, if you got questions, comments, anything, put in the comments down below or whatever. We'd be happy to answer your questions and field those and help you out in any way that we can. As far as our gentlemen here today, we have TJ Henneman and Chad Rogness from Lifetime. Now, what's your role at Lifetime? What do you do, TJ?
So I'm the residential field manager.
Okay.
I pretty much, direct all of our technicians on their jobs and make sure that all installs are being installed correctly, and also provide training to the new coming techs as well.
Sure, making sure the customer's happy, all that kind of jazz.
I install systems as well, all that stuff. Yeah.
So you don't actually run around and install systems?
Oh no, I do that on top of that.
Too?
Yes, and then I do all service and warranty calls on either our systems or existing systems that companies aren't around to do anymore. So.
Holy cow, dude. And you guys got a bunch of people where you wear a lot of hats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Chad, what do you do at Lifetime?
So I'm the Chief of Operations and then Director of Commercial Operations as well.
Yeah, there you go. Excellent. And how much commercial stuff do you guys do?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Excellent. Like mainly just like office structures and things like that? Or
we also do vapor intrusion mitigation.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're all over the environmental work, but we do a lot of multifamily new construction, renovation, condos, just anything that's not a typical residential structure.
Home. Yeah. So if you had a apartment building or something like that, you guys would be
lots of apartments.
Yeah, and that's got to be a different type of system then too. It's got
a totally different animal.
Yeah, for sure. But Lifetime Radon Solutions, they've been around in business since 1999. They work all over southeastern Wisconsin. They go. Did I see up to Green Bay?
Oh yeah.
Green Bay, Wausau.
Yes,
we'll get up there. Yep,
we'll get up there.
Yep, if they need us that badly, we'll get up there.
That's a way out there. Yeah, and then also obviously down to the border, out to the lake, all that kind of good stuff. But if you need any type of radon solution for your home, give these guys a call. They'd be happy to help you out. Free advice over the phone, free estimates if you need an estimate, a free radon test,
free testing.
Yes, sir. Non-real estate transactions.
Yeah. Yep. Non-real estate. So you can't use them for a real estate transaction. And basically, what they come out and test your own personal home that you own, not one that you're looking at purchasing or anything like that. So, so free radon test. And then as far as the mitigation system, you guys do a lot of other things, right, at Lifetime. What are some, you said VOC stuff, which is basically ground chemicals and things like that, preventing
pollution.
Pollution type stuff. Work a lot with DNR stuff. Is that what
a lot of DNR stuff?
Yeah.
Actually,
What else does Lifetime get into?
We do crawl space encapsulation.
Sure. So like vapor barriers and all that kind of stuff. Yep. Yeah. And then you do the commercial stuff, which we mentioned briefly. New construction installs. Is that a big part of what you guys do?
I mean, it's a good chunk.
We try to get a lot of the contractors out there aren't offering it to their clients. So we're working with that, but we do have a decent number of contracts.
You see an awful lot of contractors, and we were talking about this a little bit beforehand, but the plumbers that'll go and put them in.
Dave Jones.
So, yes, but they'll do passive systems, which, doesn't really do much.
Doesn't do anything.
So we go in and activate those
But,
systems.
I would say versus having no system or having a passive system, I'd rather have a passive system, knowing that it's not working. But then I'm already part of the way there towards a full-on mitigation system, which is much easier to install.
And the whole system's hidden throughout the house. You don't even know it's there.
Yeah. Right. And when we're thinking about, that's the time to add a radon mitigation system. Is when the house is open, when you can shove the pipes wherever you want to shove the pipes. You don't have to worry about protruding through the outside without that kind of stuff. It just makes more sense,
right?
And then the mitigation, the testing, the VOC, and then sump pump installation. You guys do just straight sump pump stuff?
We will, yeah.
Okay. Because usually it's a part of the mitigation system process.
If we're installing it during the mitigation system installation, then it's a much more cozy part of the package. If we're coming out there just for sump pump installation, it's a bit more expensive. But we'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, as far as Lifetime goes, if you do need to get a hold of them, the phone number is 262-955-5701. Again, that's 262-955-5701. Peter will drop that up. Who's the best tech Who's the best tech?
Oh,
is that
man.
Justin?
Yeah.
Is that one of your guys?
Justin, yeah, he might be one of our technicians.
Justin, it's funny because he knows it's me. So I don't even know why.
Justin is our assistant tech manager.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. All right, so he knows it's TJ. He's just kind of poking the bear a little bit. All right, I got you. I love you out there, Justin. Thanks for watching tonight, buddy.
Hey,
but if you do need to reach out to them, again, that's 262-955-5701. Peter will drop that in the comments down there so you can track that down. But we'll put it up on the screen in the replay and stuff like that. You can also look up Lifetime at lifetimeradon.com. Lifetimeradon.com, and you can go out there. They just have a ton of information. They have bios on all these guys and all the whole team, practically, even all the office staff and stuff. And then they have a whole gallery of all the jobs you guys have done in the past and all that kind of stuff. A lot of really good information. The website's really well organized. I don't know who does your website. You guys have a company?
iNet.
iNet does it? Yeah. They do great. Looks like a great little layout and stuff. So, yeah, great stuff. But that's lifetimeradon.com. You can go take a look at them. Now, one thing that I was driving around yesterday, I saw a Lifetime electric truck.
That's our guy, too.
Is that you, too?
Yep.
It
So
looked
we have
like the same
in-house
colors and
electrician.
stuff. Yeah, so that's the electrician that goes around and hooks up all the electrical to
There's
the
the fans.
jobs?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's full service electrical, but yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, full service. So you guys are doing panels and the whole thing. So that's
bet.
That's not listed on your website that you
Not
guys
yet.
do
Not
electrical
yet, it
work.
is.
It should be.
yeah.
You know?
It is a separate company.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, it is.
Yep. So
Okay.
we're in the process of building their website for them.
Gotcha. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, it just goes hand in hand. I mean, you got to do the electrical work to get the
Yeah,
mitigation
That's right.
systems
We're
up and
subbing
running.
it out for years, and
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Why?
time to just do
Why
it.
pay somebody else when you can have it in house? And then you have not only control of it and scheduling and all that kind of
Scheduling,
stuff,
yeah.
but then you're also going to get the maximum price or whatever benefit out of that too,
course.
and
No
be able to keep your costs lower, thereby keeping your costs lower, and can replay that to the
Exactly. Yes.
customer for
Exactly.
sure. Yeah, absolutely, makes total sense. Now. We have a number of different stuff we're going to get into today. Our main topic today is going to be all about radon gas. But every single show we do, we always talk about our defect of the week. Today's defect of the week is water intrusion. So I had home today, yesterday, and they had about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of water in the basement. Two sump pumps, and the sump pump discharges weren't hooked up right. There was check valve facing the wrong direction, and it was leaking all over the floor. And they both were running on and off the whole time, and it was just a hot mess. And then when you go outside, they pumped it out the sidewall into a 5-gallon bucket, and then the 5-gallon bucket went into another PVC. They didn't know they'd use a T or an angle, or anything to get it out. So they had a 5-gallon bucket. They pumped another pipe through, and then they had it sealed up with some great stuff. And it was just
That's
effective.
awesome.
oh my god, yeah.
Clever.
But in the meantime, when they did that, they got an inch and a half of water in their basement, destroying their furnace, destroying their water heater.
yeah.
I mean, it's just
That's a bummer.
a terrible situation, and all because they were trying to save a couple
Easily
bucks.
avoidable disaster.
Yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating. But you want to make sure that you don't get any water intrusion. Sometimes people think water intrusion is only when we have rain. That's not the case. When we have snow melt, we have groundwater, period,
Yep.
and there's a lot of different ways that water can get up against your house. So, number one, grading gutters and downspouts. If you have your water moving your grading gutters and downspouts moving that water away from the home, there's no way it can get into the home. If the water's discharging and getting to 6 to 10 feet away from the home, it's not going to probably re-enter the home unless you have some clay shelves or something weird going on, right? But also making sure that your sump pump, a lot of people, the sump pump doesn't do anything, so they forget that thing hasn't run in 20 years,
Right, yeah,
and
I
when
get
was the
that
last
all the
time you
time.
checked it, buddy? You
Yeah.
know, and you go down there, and that's going to be the one that's going to seize up as soon as you start
the
smoking.
float falls off as you touch it. It's,
It's
terrible.
been just sitting in there, and maybe it hasn't run,
Right.
but you know what? There's going to be a time when you need it to run, and if you don't check it, you don't operate it, and work those pieces, just like tires on your car. If you just let your tires sit and your car doesn't go anywhere, that tires are going to rot, you know. And so the same type of thing. We got to test the system, make sure things are working properly. But you should be testing your sump pump every 6 months. Test your sump pump every 6 months. All right. If it's an older sump pump, it's starting to show signs of wear and things like that, starting to rust and things, get it out of there. Get rid of it. You know, it is the cheapest insurance you can have to making sure you keep a dry basement. You know, $150, $200 for a high quality sump pump. You know,
Yeah.
how much is your flood going to cost
Yeah.
you? You know, just
Yep.
way more than that. You
yeah.
know, even if it's just drywall repair that you have to do or something
Yeah.
like that.
Well, battery backups help with that a lot.
Battery
actually.
backups are
can
great
be
too,
saved
and
well.
the prices come down dramatically on those too. I mean, $150, $200, you can get a low end battery backup. You know, granted you have to pay for the battery,
Right.
you know, and then you have to change that battery.
Don't
whatever
go
you-
cheap on that battery.
Oh,
It
yeah.
defeats the whole point.
A nice high quality marine grade battery,
Yeah.
you know, and how often, like every 3-4 years, you got to change them out, right?
Right.
Ish. So yeah, but a battery backup, great option. And then water alarms. So I had one. We've talked about water alarms on the show before, but this is just a Zircon, $7, you know, and basically it's got these two little electric leads on the bottom here and a 9-volt battery inside. You set it on the ground, and if it's dry, nothing connects that electrical connection. As soon as a little water gets in there, even the smallest amount of water, it connects, and this thing starts beeping really loud, letting you know that there's a water problem in the basement. And you put it right by one by your water heater, one by your sump pump. I mean, you get a couple of them. You know, $7.
Why not?
Yeah, it does
Save
make
you a lot
sense.
of trouble.
Yeah, exactly. So that is our defect of the week, you guys. Water intrusion, making sure your basement stays dry. Check the sump pump, water alarms, battery backups, grading gutters and downspouts. All parts of keeping your basement dry. All right. If you're not doing those things, it's time to start. All right. And you don't want to wait till winter. It's much more difficult to address those things in wintertime. All right. Next thing we have is we always give you a way to save a buck. So today's save a buck, okay? Saving a buck. What we're talking about is keeping your basement dry through winter. Again, these are kind of back to back a little bit, okay? But in order to keep your basement dry through winter, a lot of times you don't think of water in your basement when winter comes, but snow melt, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And once you get about maybe 10 inches under the surface, you're still going to have soil that's going to percolate water and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't freeze completely. So what you're going to be looking at doing is you're cleaning your gutters at least 3 times between now and Thanksgiving. So all the leaves have started to fall off in our area here. Probably if you live more up north, they're probably falling off already, Right. But you want to make sure to clean those gutters 2 or 3 times before Thanksgiving. Once you get to Thanksgiving, most of the leaves are going to be off, that you don't really need to worry about it too much. But after Thanksgiving, you do not get on a ladder. You do not get on a ladder when you have snow on the ground. Now, you guys sometimes have to.
Yeah,
that's a different. You guys are pros, and you guys have insurance. And
yes, we do.
That helps. Yeah, and honestly, you guys, when you're talking about getting on a ladder after Thanksgiving, it gets more dangerous. Ice, snow, all that kind of stuff. In some cases, if it's a steep pitch roof, probably getting a lift or something like that might make more sense, and if it's something you feel you have to do. But between now and Thanksgiving, clean those gutters out 3 times. There's easy ways you can do it. You don't have to even get on a ladder anymore if you just have a ranch. Just get one of those little snowblower extensions or leaf blower extensions, and blow those suckers out, but cleaning that out. Also making sure your downspout discharges are going far enough away from the home. I'm not a big fan of underground discharges. They can get broken, damaged, and then you're just taking all that rainwater, putting it right next to your house, and then your sump pumps are going to have issues and all kinds of other stuff. So that is that. And then as far as your sump pump goes, you should be checking that sump pump every 6 months. So every 6 months, go down there, check it. Like we talk about a lot on the channel, we talk about your 6-month maintenance cycle. So Halloween and Easter. If you do stuff at Halloween and you do stuff at Easter, just set aside a day to do your stuff around your house. You're going to be ahead of 95% of the population in the United States as far as home maintenance goes. And you're going to catch problems before they become problems, before they become costly. So 6-month maintenance cycle, checking that sump pump every 6 months. All right, you guys, that is the save a buck for the week. All right, now, as far as the co-hosts here go, we kind of talked a little bit about what you guys do and stuff, a little bit about the services that you guys offer. What has been your craziest location to put a radon mitigation system in?
Man.
Oh.
Probably a commercial one or something.
Yeah, I would definitely. I mean, the craziest system I put in is not going to be the craziest location.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we did a large, actually right downtown. What is the not MATC down there, but what's the other big school down there?
MSOE?
Oh, Marquette?
No, not Marquette.
UWM?
Maybe it was, no, it was not. It was, I don't know the name of it.
Tech school?
It was a large building.
Yeah.
Large commercial building. They had underground tunnels, vaults. They had Mario tubes that you could slide down for the employees. They had secret bar rooms behind the stairwell.
That sounds like a fun place to work.
Was
That's
really
like
fun.
working at Google, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Just giving me the tour. It was a good
Little
time.
nap areas and stuff set up.
We should get some of those.
Yeah,
So that was probably the wildest location, but the wildest system we put in was a large industrial plant where we actually had to saw cut up the floor, trench out a whole bunch of systems, and we put on like 8 horsepower blowers on that.
Holy cow!
We did two
8 horse.
Yeah, we had 2 systems mitigating
ginormous.
almost 500,000 square feet.
That's crazy. Wow, that's a huge system.
It was
ridiculous. And so when you chop that all up, you're putting drain tile in basically. Right?
Yeah, well, so you had to scatter it too because you don't
perfect.
want to just lose all your air volume and pressure in the first 100 feet of pipe. You know, so you got maybe 20 feet of perforated pipe,
sure.
and you got 50 feet of solid pipe.
Yeah,
and so on.
Yeah. So what he's talking about with that, you guys, is when we're making a mitigation system, one of the things you need is subslab depressurization is a vacuum that we're creating, right? And if you have too much space, then you're losing all your suction at the very beginning, and whenever you're not getting any in other places.
Yep, you're
That's
not
why
getting the extension.
he's talking about spreading that out in the system, which is kind of what gets into a little bit of the system design that, that you probably deal more with in a commercial side on the design than you do on the residential. Residential is usually pretty straightforward, unless it's like a huge place, right? With as far as the suction field, right? But when you get into designing how the pipe's going to get out of the house, though, that's where you got to get creative with residential stuff, right?
Well, and I always look back at the one, I think you were with me on that house in Verona where we had to do, there was like all bedrock underneath it was a multi-level.
Yeah.
And we had
that,
one system coming out of their finished bathroom that was like a regular, like, suction pit system. So just, no drain tile.
Yep.
And then on the other side of the basement, we had a double stack fans. And then it had like 3 or 4 arms on the inside of the home.
Just to get the suction that you needed
under the slab.
Yeah.
And that one
solid bedrock.
That's pretty crazy.
Rough.
It was tough.
Yeah.
You never really
it's
want.
not just going down there taking out a couple handfuls of gravel. It's
no, you're drilling. You're not even using your.
And actually, on that house, TJ, that final. So we had that one in the finished bathroom. Then on that same slab, that newer slab or whatever, we had to excavate all the way down to their footings.
Yes.
Oh wow.
And go underneath their footings and back up under the slab that way. To get another. So there were actually 3 systems, 4 fans on that poor little
crazy.
house. Yeah,
that's pretty crazy. Yeah,
it was. We just could not get pressure extension. There was.
Yeah, and you've got to, or you're not doing the job. You're not going to reduce the radon level.
We're not going to leave a customer hanging with high levels. That's not what we do. So.
For sure, absolutely, you're going to do what it takes. Absolutely. All right. So now we're going to get into the radon, and so as far as radon goes, there is an understanding of what radon gas is, and the Wisconsin Department of Health has a little video. We're just going to share their video real quickly.
Sure.
I watched it. I'm not crazy about the quality of the video, but it's the state of Wisconsin video. You get what you get. It's government. Yeah. So Peter, switch me over to the computer here, bud.
Hi, and welcome to Radon 101. First, it's important to know that radon is a gas, invisible and odorless. Radon is naturally occurring. It's a radioactive gas that comes off rocks deep in the soil. See, houses are like humans. They breathe in and out. If your house is built on or even near an area with radon, this gas can move through the ground and seep in through tiny cracks in your basement floor. And over time, this invisible, odorless gas can cause deadly lung cancer. And while most people don't have high radon levels in their home, some do. But don't panic. You can have your house tested and find out if you have a radon problem. If you have a radon problem, an expert can help you fix it simply and easily. It's a method called subslab depressurization. Sounds fancy, but it's really very simple. If you have radon gas creeping through cracks in your house, experts can help by sealing up any cracks in your basement floor or sump area, installing a pipe with a fan in your basement floor and routing it outside, and up above your roof line into the outdoor air and away from your home. Once it's in place, the radon expert will test to make sure it's working and show you how to check it too. But the first step is the most important. Get your home tested. You'll breathe easier, and your house will too. Just visit lowradon.org to find out more.
So this video, you guys, I think it probably, when you're in the office, whoever made this, it's going one or two ways. Okay, one of two ways. Either some guy's coming in there, hey boss, look what I did. This is awesome. I did it on a whiteboard with a video camera. Or there's a guy that ordered this off of like Fiverr or something, and he's like, oh, this is what I got, man. And they're like, we're not paying for actors, so this is what we're doing. But yeah, I mean, the information, the general basics is there. So just to kind of give you guys my take on radon. So radon comes up from the soil, and basically is a byproduct of uranium and thorium and what's the other one? There's one other one that's actinium. Now, uranium is the most common one where we're going to have that decay product. And as it goes through those decay cycles, the radon gas is given off and it seeps up through the soil, and it can enter into our homes through cracks in the basement, drain tile, sump crock, perforated wall systems and that kind of stuff, or even just through masonry and block walls, right? I mean, they're all, air can transfer through those things. And as that radon enters into your home, it gets stuck, and we need to get it out, okay? And we want to get it out in an efficient way that's not going to mean that you have to leave your windows open and hook up fans and be completely inefficient, energy inefficient, you know? But mitigation systems are the way to do that. Now, the only way to know if you have a radon problem is through testing, and it's because radon is a odorless, scentless, tasteless. There's nothing that's going to tell you you have a radon problem unless you test. Okay, so testing is the place to start, and they got that right. The only way to know if you have a problem is test. And every home should be tested. Okay, there's no reason to not get tested, especially if you live in southeastern Wisconsin here. These cats will come and do it for you for free.
You have a skull,
no cost. Okay,
Professional tests.
Yeah, professional tests. They're going to set up at your house. They're going to come back and get 54 hours later, whatever. What
Yeah, well, it's going to be a 2-day minimum actual sample.
Yep. So they're going to do that
These
test.
guys right here, actually. So.
Hold that up so they can see that guy.
Of course.
Yeah. So that's one type of radon monitor that they can install. For our company, what we do, so these guys don't do real estate transaction radon tests.
We do. It's just not free.
It's not free.
Yeah. No, we give that priority scheduling, and therefore we charge for that.
Yeah, and they got it. So with that kind of stuff, you got to get done in a timely period and stuff like that.
Correct.
So if it's for a real estate transaction, they do charge, but they offer it. But this is the one. These are the ones I've been using since 2010.
Sure.
That's the newest technology out there, and that's great. I just haven't paid to upgrade or whatever. These ones that work great still, as long as we get them recalibrated and stuff, they really haven't let us down yet.
No.
But they're just two different ways of accomplishing the same thing, you know. But ultimately, it's about testing. And if you don't get your house tested, you don't know if you have a problem. And every single house should be tested. Now, there's areas of this country that are kind of crazy with it all, you know, and kind of mandated laws and all this kind of stuff. How about we just mandate common sense?
Yeah, right.
And you have a health risk in your home that could potentially lead to lung cancer. The second leading cause of lung cancer in comparison to smoking is the only one above it, right? And so if we're talking about that, why would you put you and your family at risk? When you can find out if you have a problem at no cost. You know, it just makes sense. Now, when it comes to new construction and all that kind of stuff, well, that's a discussion we'll have a little bit later, how that industry needs to change. But ultimately, you guys, you got to get your house tested. It's the only way you're going to know if you have a problem. These gases usually will be coming up in different parts of the state, the country, in different volumes and different concentrations and things like that, which we're going to get a little bit into in just a bit here. But ultimately, every house has radon. Every house has radon. It's just even a 6-story condo has some level of radon.
No doubt.
Probably not very high, but unless it's got a air system connected to the air handler in the basement or something like that, but it's still going to have some level of radon. And if you go outside, you have radon coming up through your soil. It's everywhere, and we got to manage how we're exposed to it. So if somebody said, hey, you have a high level of carbon monoxide in your basement and it could kill you, are you going to take action? Probably. But for the last 60 years, they've been saying radon can kill, and people haven't taken it seriously. We've had some people would say we've had bigger fish to fry with dealing with smoking issues and other health problems and things like that. But as we start to get those things under control, we're now hearing more about radon, and you hear it on the radio now, and you hear National Radon Day, and those kinds of things are starting to happen now. It's gaining traction, and it really needs to. Something that everybody needs to test for. You got to make sure your house is safe.
Yeah.
So that all boils down to. As far as radon gas exposure, it's something that everybody's exposed to. It's just what concentration. And a lot of times when I'm talking to people and they ask questions, whoa, how's it going to affect me? And I equate it a lot to smoking. So if you're in a situation where you're around heavy smoke all day long and you're working in a smoky bar and all that kind of stuff, your chance of developing cancer from secondhand smoke is much higher than if you weren't. So if you're just walking by somebody on the road out there smoking a cigarette on the sidewalk or whatever, they had a different exposure than you did, and it has to do with concentration and length of time. So when we talk about that as far as radon goes, so the EPA, they have levels at 4.0 is our action level, which we'll get into in a little bit. But like when we talk about a radon level in Germantown or Menominee Falls, we're talking 40s, 50s. I had an 89 one time.
Yeah, we had 150 in Menominee Falls.
Yeah, some pretty crazy numbers. If we're going out to the east side of Milwaukee, we're talking 2.4, maybe 4.5, the relatively lower numbers in comparison. But when you're walking by somebody on the street that's smoking a cigarette or whatever, you're being exposed to that 0.5 ish. When you're working in that smoky bar all the time, you're exposed to the 89, and that's kind of the range when you think about how is it going to affect me and what are my chances of developing lung cancer. Now, there's another caveat to this, and that's genetics, right? So my grandmother. She smoked like a fiend until she was 90 and lived in another 6 years after that, you know, and it didn't affect her at all. She never got lung cancer, nothing like that, you know. I mean, no matter how many packs of cigarettes we stole from her when she was a kid, when we were kids, you know, and threw in the water, you know, tried to get her to quit. She wasn't going to quit. But, you know, I had another relative of mine that passed away at 41 from lung cancer, you know, and just... And they didn't even smoke that much. It was, you know, but it affects everybody a little bit differently. So, keeping that in mind, you gotta be smart. Get your home tested. Make sure your house is safe. It's not just you; it's your family, it's your kids, it's your husband. And you want to make sure that they're all healthy.
Your pets as well. I mean,
Pets
you know, they have a smaller respiratory system. They're closer to the ground. You know,
They're huffing and puffing a lot more.
Spend a lot more time in the basement.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely something. I mean, we've had customers call in where, you know, that's the reason why they're calling is because their cat got lung cancer, and the vet said, hey, you know, have you tested your home for radon?
Yeah.
And sure enough, they had high levels.
Yeah, and the cat or dog are in that house all the time.
Oh,
They
yeah.
don't leave. You go at least leave and go to work half the day.
Right.
You know, it's a different situation. And if you have a basement office or anything like that, you're going to probably have a little bit higher
Working out in your
levels.
basement,
Fitness
breathing in heavy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all of it matters. So get your house tested. Make sure that you are being safe. When we talk about radon, it is not just it's not in this area, it's not in that area, it's everywhere. So make sure you get your house tested. Here in the United States, we use a high level of 4.0 as far as our action level. So the EPA, they say a house that's at 4.0 is unsafe for human occupancy. I think that's actually the terms they use. It's unsafe for human occupancy. But they're just trying to scare people into doing the right thing. You know, the problem comes in is that they had to draw a line in the sand. They had to say, mainly for like real estate transactions, right? If you are talking to the average homeowner, they can make the decision for themselves. There's nobody arguing. There's no bickering or anything like that.
Right.
But in a real estate transaction, where does it become a defect or where does it become a health hazard that it needs to be addressed? And the EPA drew a line in the sand. They set at 4.0. Now 4.0, they're measuring in picocuries, which is a very, very tiny little measurement.
It is not a percentage.
It's not a percentage. It is a very tiny little molecule or whatever, and we're talking about concentration, you know. But at 4.0, they say unsafe for human occupancy, a mitigation system is required. It gets confusing for people because then at 3.999, I'm telling them it's not technically a defect, but you have an elevated level, you know, and I recommend mitigation, but it's not a defect. It's not a health defect, according to the EPA. And that's because me as a home inspector, I have to go along with the EPA's recommendation. I can't get into that, otherwise I get in legal trouble.
We do the same thing. It's strongly recommended between 2 and 4. But we do, if it's under 4 or above 2 or anywhere in between that, for that matter, it's highly recommended that you do a long-term test. Because right now you're grabbing a 48-hour snapshot. That changes constantly.
A longer test is going to provide with more data, and it's going to be a more
time
accurate.
of the year too does a lot for radon levels.
You know, time of the year.
I mean, you might have a 3.5, you know, but in wintertime, you're closed up. That might be a little bit higher. You might now be over 4. And
or the ground outside gets a big old thick layer of snow on it, and the gas can't permeate out. Then it's going to force it into your house where the weak spot is. You know. So that longer term test makes sense. You know, if your house is above 1, I think a mitigation system is going to be a big benefit for you, you know. And the mitigation systems, when you think about the mitigation system, the main purpose of it is to reduce radon, right? But there's other byproducts of this that are a benefit to us as well, right? So what are some of those?
Benefits.
You can it provides, you know, basically fresh air, or not fresh air, but pulling out that, you know, the damp air from subslab, kind of drying that out, maybe stopping any of the mold or anything else that might be growing under there, because you know it is.
It's going to reduce the moisture.
Overall effect is to dehumidify the foundation and therefore your basement for sure. But like TJ's saying, it'll pull out some of that mold, mildew, that damp basementy smell. It definitely helps eliminate that. Now keep in mind, if that's your goal, like maybe your radon level is a 1.0 or 2.0, but you want to put it in anyways with the intent of reducing your moisture levels, perhaps you don't want your dehumidifier running anymore. You want to let them know that, okay? Because a standard system isn't necessarily going to help you out with that. Each foundation is different.
They'll design it for you.
Exactly. Oversize it, do what it takes, add collection points.
But also when we're sucking air from out of the basement, right? The house has to maintain an air volume, so it's going to suck in more fresh air from the outside, making you a little healthier as well. So there's another benefit. So. Radon mitigation. Yes, there's a cost to it. Okay, what's our average cost? Just give us ballpark. Nobody's going to hold you to any number.
Right now, our average with electrical is right around $1,400.
Okay,
$1,320.
Yep, and that basically is going to get your mitigation system in a single family residential 1,500 square foot.
Yep, there you go. With drain tile.
Easy thing with drain tile. No special stuff or whatever.
No.
Yep. So and that's what it costs. Now I understand that it's still $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, whatever that may be. It's a lot of money. I'm not saying that it's not. However, when you're looking at the overall health of your family, when you're looking at reducing the moisture in your basement, when you're looking at bringing in more fresh air to make you guys a little bit healthier, especially when we're so conscientious about COVID and all the other germs flying around these days, it's just better for you, you know? So a great idea to get that improved. And also at the same time that you're getting that addressed, usually the sump pumps get addressed and stuff. So that's all part of it. And then you have less worry. That's sump pumps, great insurance to make sure your basement's going to stay dry. So
and that goes into with the water intrusion we were talking about earlier. Like, you know, if you're not paying attention to that and your drain tile's full of water, now your radon system is not going to work. We're not function. Can't pull air through water.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a lot of gurgling. You're going to get, you know, potentially a foundation company in to fix that, and you're looking at a whole mess of things.
Yeah, tearing up drain tile is not cheap.
No.
Yeah, not cheap at all.
And we do have to seal those sump cracks. And so putting in a new sump pump, you know, while we're doing that, before we do that, is always just a good measure of safety.
Yeah, and it makes it so you guys have to come back and unseal the crock and do all the stuff again. You know,
if we're there to do it, just have us do it.
Now, if you do live in the state of Wisconsin, the great state of Wisconsin, we do have a map that has basically come out, and I don't think these numbers have been revised in a really long time, you know, but this is kind of the general map that they came out. They did a test, I think it was like 40 years ago, that they tested all these different areas and stuff like that. That's where these maps, I think, are generally coming from. Because, like, when you guys do tests and I do tests, we're not reporting anywhere. How great would it be if we did, though? Right. You know, update this shit, you know, and all it is digital files. You know what I mean? If we could upload digital files or whatever and make it easy to get that data, I mean, that'd be valuable to not only you and I, but just everybody in the general public. But Peter, put that back up on the computer. So you can see here, the brown areas are, the darker the color of brown, the higher the radon level in that area that was detected like 40 years ago, which probably has changed, you know. But we do definitely have some radon issues more prominently in southeastern Wisconsin and a little bit north of Madison, Wisconsin Dells, Wausau area, that kind of stuff. So
Waukesha itself is pretty heavy.
Waukesha, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of granite, there's a lot of clay there, so all that stuff just shifts and moves along there, and all the granite. So, like, if you got granite in your house, granite can emit radon as well.
Yes,
you know?
That's what we tell customers too, or even our technicians when they're setting the test. Like, you know, if you're setting it on a countertop, don't, you know, maybe stay away from that. Even pool tables.
Natural stone in general.
Yeah. So we're putting ours on a tripod, about 20 inches off the ground. It's probably what you guys do too. But that's just the way to do it. Granite can go off radon. You can also get radon from your water. It's not as common, you know.
Not in Wisconsin.
Not in Wisconsin. It was in Waukesha for a little bit. They had the radium issue.
They had radium, but the radon levels were still low, actually.
Was it really?
Content,
yeah. And now that's all remedied, though, because now they got new water.
Yeah, and I was going to say, radon and water, too, the levels have to be extremely elevated for you to mitigate that. So it comes out to a 10,000-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
So if radon in your water is at 10,000, then you're looking at the equivalent risk of a 1.
Highly unlikely. Yeah. Your radon that's coming into your home is almost guaranteed that it's going to be from a gaseous state coming through the soil.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's a little bit on the radon. We showed you some of the maps. We'll put those maps in the link down below if you want to go and look at those and kind of see where your area is. If you want to watch the Wisconsin Department of Health video again, if you're in a whatever that kind of mood, go for it. But there's better stuff out there. We even have a couple good videos about radon, where it came from and stuff. But learning a little bit more about radon gas is important, so that you understand it and what you're looking at getting when you get a test done and things like that. And they come to you and they're talking about elevated levels and drain tile and all these other types of stuff, you know. So let's talk a little bit about how do we know if we have a problem? How can we find out if we have a problem? Testing we've talked about, right? So getting a test done. And one of the other ways I have up here that like when I'm showing up at a home and I'm going to be doing a radon or doing a home inspection, you know, I'm looking around the other houses, and if there's a bunch of radon pipes all sticking up everywhere, bing, 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 you know, you're probably going to have a higher level. Now, every home will have a different level. A lot of it has to do with how much gas permeation you have through the drain tile, how much through the soil, how much through the building materials, you know, and that kind of stuff. And some of it is the soil that's directly underneath your house versus 3 blocks away underneath your neighbor's house, you know, or whatever. But when you have a bunch of mitigation systems and your neighbors all have them, odds are you're probably going to have an elevated level.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a good reason to test.
Yeah, for sure. Now, when you guys do you guys put signs up in the yard?
We used to do that.
I got one in mind, but
there you go.
They just kept disappearing on us.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
To the point where,
and they're not worth the money then. Yeah, for sure.
Big old colorful van kind of does the trick.
That does the trick, yeah. And you guys got some nice. Your branding has changed a little bit over the years, but really you kind of stuck with those colors and really stands out, which is good. Yeah. But and when you're getting a test done, if you're going to, and I see you got this the Department of Health test.
Yeah, so it's like a charcoal test, and this is obviously charcoal is a natural like absorbent, so basically reads the radon decay in the air. You seal it back up, send it out to the lab. The lab extracts it from there and kind of sends you your results.
And this is the way mitigators used to test. They used to hang them from the ceiling all the time.
I still use those on large commercial projects.
Yeah, when you got to do a bunch of them.
I can't set 200 digital monitors.
Yeah, for sure. But this is a kit that you can buy. You don't have to buy it. You can go to the Waukesha Department of Health, Washington County Health, Milwaukee County Health, and they'll give you one for free. I think it's like every 2 years or something, isn't it? Or something like that. Yeah, and you can get one for free. The only thing is that you have to pay for the shipping and for the test.
For the analytics.
What's that?
Analytics.
Yep. And it basically comes out to about, I tell everybody, $50-$60 is what you should plan on spending. Buying it something in Home Depot, not going to work. That's been sitting in their their box or whatever for a long time, and I don't think they even they don't put an expiration date on them, though, do they? The ones at Home Depot?
Ours do.
Yeah, ours
do. They? Yeah. And they should. But ultimately, you guys buying something at Home Depot for testing your home for radon gas, bad idea.
We do it for free.
Yeah, do it. Call up Lifetime. They'll come out. They'll do a free test using high quality calibrated equipment that is going to put out a nice report that'll show you what the radon level was at all the different time periods and all that kind of stuff.
We even send it right to you as well.
Yeah,
so
you'll
see what we're
see the
talking about.
Actually, these ones I think you can actually send it right on site there. Can't you?
We can.
Where mine, I got to hook it up to the computer and do all that mess.
We can
I got to get out. I got to get out of the Stone Age, right? Yeah, no, I'm good. But this is one option, and the kits that you get, these charcoal kits, they're accurate. I would have no problem believing the results from one of these guys. Some of the things you're buying from Home Depot and that kind of stuff, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that have those really. Now you guys have some of these continuous monitors, right?
Yes.
So throw those out here. So this is a continuous monitor. Basically, you plug it in and it'll take a reading and tell you what the long term test is, what the immediate is.
You can set that as often as you want it to.
Yep. And what do these normally run?
That's like $125.
$125, and you can put it. There's Luft and whatever. There's a bunch of different kinds out there.
Yep.
But those are not bad. You know, they're not bad. The only problem I find with those is that nobody has to get them calibrated at all. Is that
and that's so because you're still supposed to technically any digital radon device you're supposed to have calibrated every year.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is with these homeowner versions is the device itself is cheaper than calibration.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Realistically, if you wanted to check it, you could run one of these next to it. Once or twice a year just to make sure it's still accurate.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just buy yourself a new one.
Yeah. Yep.
Or call us. We'll give you a professional test for free.
There you go. Excellent. There's lots of different options out there. But why, when you can get it for free, why pay the money to drive over to the health department and shit like that when you can just get it for free?
Worry about the mailing, everything.
All the other stuff. Yeah, you don't want to have to mess with it at all. So just call up Lifetime Radon. You can reach them at 262-955-5701. And they'd be happy to come out for you. You can look them up on lifetimeradon.com as well. There's lots of information there. And I think there's actually a schedule button on there. And all that kind of stuff.
Yes, there is now. Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Now, as far as the radon gas goes, we talked about how to test it, how to do all that kind of stuff. Let's get into the mitigation system part of this. Okay, so that's where you guys make your bread and butter, right? So mitigation system, basically, like the video said, subslab depressurization is what you guys basically come in and do.
Right.
And what you're doing is I tell everybody to explain it simply, because when I'm talking to people, I'm talking to not you guys. I'm talking to Bobby and Joe that are buying their first house, and they don't know nothing about nothing.
Right.
They probably would grab the wrong end of a hammer if I didn't tell them. But when you explain it, it's like taking a Hoover vacuum and you're turning your whole slab in your basement into a Hoover vacuum, sucking all the air out from underneath there and pumping it outside, right? Yeah. Now, that's very simplistic.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't mean to simplify what you guys do at all.
Customers that exactly.
But it kind of gives you the concept that you guys are going to install in their home, and you're going to do it professionally. It's going to be right. It's going to work all the time, and that kind of stuff. And a mitigation system, while $1,300 to $1,500 on your average 1,500 square foot home, you're talking about there's lots of different pieces and elements to that. Okay, and it's not just one size fits all. Every house is a little bit different, and you got to set it up for that house. So going to Home Depot and buying your own stuff and trying trying to put it in, almost always going to make mistakes. It's just not something that your average homeowner is going to be able to tackle and understand.
And generally, we cannot salvage your attempt.
Yeah.
We're usually just going to start from scratch.
Start from over, and it's not that I can't appreciate the DIY world and what it's become,
doubt.
but this is not one place to skip. And that's like I tell everybody, you never want to mess with gas, and you never want to go in your electrical panel. If you go in your electrical panel, you're gonna have a really bad day if your screwdriver touches the wrong thing. And if you are messing around with gas, you could blow up your house. You know, and radon is just one of those things that if you don't get it right, you're not going to do the job. You know, and so it's important to get it right the first time. So mitigation systems, sub slab depressurization. Generally, these systems are going to tie into the drain tile of a home, right? If your home has drain tile, right? In an older home, it may not, right? In an older home, when you don't have drain tile, what do we have to do?
So that would be your soil depressurization. I mean, so what we do is we hammer drill through the floor, about a 4-inch hole, and then by hand with sometimes the help, it depends on the type of soil if we're dealing with clay, but we have like a hand auger for drills.
It's only 4 inches.
Okay,
sure.
So, but through that hole, I mean, we are basically hand digging out anywhere from 5 to 10 gallons of whatever type of soil you have beneath that slab. We're taking that out of there. We're making a real nice pit, basically an area to just kind of build negative pressure.
Yeah, a vacuum area, vacuum pocket. Yeah, because if you don't have a vacuum pocket to suck the air from, then you're not doing nothing.
Exactly.
So we drill the hole, we take out that vacuum pocket, and then if you had drain tile, you'd be tying into the drain tile.
Directly into it, yeah. And if we can go on here, too, I do have some pictures of kind of what that looks like when we tap into the drain tile.
Go ahead and pull that up.
I can show you guys that. All right. Okay. So here's kind of what it looks like when we drill through the floor itself, right? Now, in this one, we landed right on top of the drain tile.
You got lucky.
Oh. No,
we're that
good measurement. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you're good. Okay.
All right. And then, we're going into, let's see here, opening up the drain tile itself. We try to make it as clean as possible. You want to be in that top third part of the drain tile there. Obviously not breaking anything, that would carry the water itself. We clean a little bit of the rock out around it. We don't want to pull any of those up or have any of that fall into the drain tile itself. But that's basically what you're looking at with the drain tile system. If you were to pull our system out, that's what you would see.
Now, when you bring that 4-inch pipe down into there, are you actually touching the drain tile?
We are hovering over it. So I typically go about to the bottom of the slab, so it's kind of level at the bottom of the slab. Yep. So I'm pulling some air from everywhere.
That large number 1 stone down there is going to have a lot of voids in it too, so you can draw air from that as well.
That's newer home too. I mean, that's corrugated drain tile, so not exactly newer, but 90s up, you're going to get a lot more of that gravel than you would in the older homes.
Sure.
What you're looking at there is like the perfect scenario.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Cool. Yep. And then as far as the mitigation system moving up from there, so you got some nice shots there. So that is what it would look like on the outside of the house. Now, a properly installed mitigation system should always discharge how far above the roof line.
So you want to be, if you're not 10 feet away from your windows or 2 feet above the nearby windows, that's basically the rules. But 6 inches above your gutter is really all that is needed. Okay, obviously, take into consideration snow drift, stuff like that. If the customer brings that up, we're going to go a little bit higher to avoid. Damage to our system or, icing, anything like that.
Yeah, you don't want to cover it up.
Right.
Yeah, if you cover it up, then you're not going to...
You're going to get a little backup. Yep.
Yeah, not going to do much. So, and then as far as the fan goes, we brought a fan in here today, so we got this big guy. We're not going to try to cover up you there, Chad.
No, I'm still visible.
There you go. Yeah. So the mitigation system fan, this is where the electronics are. We have a weatherproof housing here, right?
Yes.
And then these rubber... Ferncoats basically is going to they have clamps on them here. You loosen that up, you can slide it up the pipe, and then you slide the top one up, slide the bottom one down, put your fan in, bring them back down, clamp them down, and that's how your fan is installed. And then you have your cord, which is going to go to a dedicated electrical outlet that's
within 6 feet.
So that's the rule. It has to be within 6 feet, and it's going to be on the outside of the house there. And is GFCI protected? I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, also protected.
Yep. So that's going to be how that works. And then how do you guys mount this thing to the wall? I mean, it's like
the pipe mounts to the wall.
Yep. So
pipe mounts to the wall.
Yeah. This does not mount to the house itself.
Oh, so this is not bracketed to the house or nothing.
Correct.
So the pipe just kind of has a bend in it that comes out to allow for this space here.
You got it.
Pretty much, and that's kind of it here too. So it's an overview. So the fan, the pipe comes out of the wall. There's a 90-degree fitting. Fan sits off the house.
Oh, you have a whip put on.
Yep. There. And now with this here as well, with the couplings, the reason you want to use those, a lot of companies I've seen them use 3 to 4 like PFC transfers.
Yeah.
You want to obviously stop all the vibration and the noise you can with these things, and that's just the best way to do it.
Well, and this actually seals it properly too.
That as well.
If you try to use a PVC fitting and you put some caulk up under there or something, because the adapter to the fan is not the same size as the PVC.
Yeah,
right?
and
so
if you caulked it, now you can't get this off to replace it because this doesn't last forever, right?
Right. So
yeah.
This picture that I'm showing here is an example of what you wouldn't want to do. So now that is
that's
that
gutter material.
Is gutter, and so they use the fern coats, but then as you can see, right where the gutter touches the PVC there, it's all silicone.
Yeah, and you guys, this thing is like, just to give you a size here, I'm literally holding this thing next to my head. It's I got a big head, and this is enormous. And there's different sizes, I would assume, based on the volume of air that you're wanting to move.
This manufacturer, the physical size of the fan does not really change. The size of the duct does, the motor does, and the impeller changes, but the physical size of the fan remains pretty much the same.
Gotcha. And what are we talking horsepower here? What are we talking about?
That one's less than an eighth.
Yep.
Less than an eighth. Okay, so I mean, and we don't have to do when I tell everybody, we don't need a lot of suction. We just need a little bit. I mean, if you could take a 2-year-old and have them suck on a straw, that's what you're getting, but you're getting on a 3-inch straw, and they're going to suck 24/7, 365. You know, so we're not looking for a ton of suction, so we don't have to have this huge fan unless it's a bigger property.
Of course.
But we need to have that little bit of negative pressure sucking that air constantly out of your foundation. And these fans, what are we talking about life expectancy?
Yeah, it's got a 5-year warranty. But
I mean, I've put some in that have never been even changed out yet.
15,
and
20 years, is that reasonable?
I mean, not this brand, but Radon away. So like the people that make the Radon and a lot of other products in the industry, that I've pulled fans off that are over 20 years old.
Yeah.
And the bearings like just decided to go. So it's really just mostly the bearings that are going to kill you on that. So.
And it's,
the motor will go too.
Motor will, yep.
Constantly spinning. 365 days a year. It doesn't turn off. The moment it turns off, guess what? You have a radon problem again. So it's something that we need to make sure to check on once in a while. And part of our 6-month regular maintenance schedule we talk about in homes is checking the manometer on your radon system, right? So manometer, I'm using a science word here, right? So the car guys are like, I use a manometer on my radiator. What are you talking about? Or I check my piston strength with the manometer. So
that's one actually right there on the screen. That's kind of what our systems would look like.
So this is a manometer, and the manometer is measuring pascals of vacuum pressure. Is that right?
It's reading inches of pressure.
Of vacuum pressure. Okay, so go put that back up there, Pete. So when we're looking at a manometer that looks like this, that fan ain't working.
Fan is off currently on that one. So maybe electrical wasn't hooked up yet, or whatever the case was. But yes.
Do you have one what it looks like when we have one operating?
Yeah. So right here is one actually. This is actually a block wall depressurization system as well.
Oh, so you're using the cores to suck there too.
Right.
And you can see the vacuum pressure that's being created. So that little pipe that goes into the PVC is detecting and receiving some of that suction.
Yes.
And that's sucking up it's colored oil, basically.
Basically, right? So it doesn't evaporate.
So it doesn't evaporate. I mean, it actually would evaporate, but it'd take a really long,
it's a
really
time.
long time.
It's a very long time. Yeah.
But they sometimes are red, sometimes are blue, sometimes are green. It doesn't really matter. No. But you're looking to have that volume of one side that's hooked up to the pipe sucking. Now, if you have the pipe stuck in to that side, and say the other side was high, what would that be telling us?
That you have a positive pressure system.
So we have something that's pushing out of the pipe.
Right. Somebody's playing a trick on you to flip the fan upside down. Something like that.
Justin? Is Justin the guy that does that?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Justin would mess with you like that? He'd flip the fan upside down and push air in?
Oh, yeah.
He's that guy. That guy. That's right. Every place you work, I have that guy. Right? Yeah. So that's what it looks like. So the thermometer is usually in the basement, right?
Yep.
And it's got to be in a location where you can access it to monitor your system. You should check it every 6 months. I went to a house probably last week or whatever where they had the mitigation system in and they finished off their basement and they walled in the mitigation system, and so you can't check the manometer or nothing like that. Yeah,
kind of like when they run carpet over their sump crack.
Oh man.
Yeah, or the guys that put the fan. I've been at Dave Jones installations where the fan's like up and it's out on the eve of the house. Like it's how are you gonna get to that to replace that? It's like no thought for the future at all.
No,
it's just ridiculousness.
Yep.
So that is what we're looking at as far as the installation. So, Peter, can you scroll down on the script for me there a little bit, buddy? There we go. So as far as the pipes go, 3.5, 4 inches is what we normally are talking. What's this one here?
So that'd be for your...
Yep. This would be for a 3-inch pipe.
Yeah, so that's for a 3-inch pipe. And does it really matter?
Oh, yeah.
It does?
Yeah, it's all about volume.
Volume of air that you're getting
What are you
out.
trying to do?
Okay. And that is where you come into designing the system for that home.
Pretty much, yeah.
So if we had a smaller home, a smaller pipe and a smaller fan, is that how that equates?
Sometimes.
Yeah, depends. And then it gets into your levels too. I mean, we had a home recently. I mean, the average I think was, what was it? It was definitely, I think around 80, but then it maxed at like a 254.
Yeah, 254.
254.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
Had
cow.
a couple of spikes.
And
That's crazy.
that was last week we did the install for that one, and then we got the results back. I think it was today, and we had it at a 0.01 or 0.10. So.
Yeah, I'm always telling everybody it's almost going to reduce your radon level in your home to almost outdoor air quality levels. You know? So
we get as close as possible.
It's a 250 or whatever came back at, but you're getting down to into the point.
Oh
digits.
yeah,
right.
And you guys, just to kind of bring it back to what the EPA has as a suggestion, that 4.0 they suggest action be taken. So at 254, that's a crazy. When I pull out my 89 I had in Germantown last year, real estate agents, holy cow, that's did they live? And I'm like, I don't know. But it's something that definitely getting your home tested is going to tell you if you have that problem or whatever. But then you got to have a quality company come in like you guys and design the system so that it's going to get that nice little level for you. And you want to get it consistently through the house. It can't just be in that one corner where the mitigation system is, and you have a crawl space on the other half of your house that's just blowing radon into your home.
Yeah, right.
Like you said, sometimes with those situations you might even have two systems, right?
Yep. Or at least more than one collection point.
Yeah, definitely. And crawl spaces too. I mean, we've had it plenty of times where we'll encapsulate it, also do the system, but then we'll run another vent pipe underneath that crawl space, the vapor barrier, and vent that out as well.
Yeah.
So it depends on the situation. Every home.
Do you guys
every
have
home
a
is
little
different.
guy?
Yeah, used to.
Used to that. Everybody wants the little guy, the little guy that can get in there, and, and everybody will buy him lunch on that day too, but they're just glad they're not the 6-foot monsters got to climb in that
it's
tight
not
hole.
fun when that happens.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, as far as the vacuum pressure, what are we normally expecting out of these systems when you're looking at them?
Yeah, that also always depends.
It varies. Yeah.
Depends on your fan, your drain tile system, how wet your soil is. I mean,
you got a ton of gravel. I mean, you're looking to move a lot of air with that, so it depends really.
So if on the manometer, if you only have like less than 1, is
that's okay.
That's okay.
Typically,
but if you have over 3,
so with this fan,
if you got a good clay soil under there and no drain tile, you're gonna hit 3s, 4s, 5s.
Oh,
right. With this fan, it's like specifically, we're usually looking at about a ½ inch on that water column we showed you guys. If this if you're going down and we're looking at a fan like this and that's maxed out at around like a 2 on that inch column, obviously zero it out, make sure it's right first. Then if that goes right back up to a 2, this guy's pulling a little too hard, so that wouldn't.
It's not moving any air at that point.
Yeah. So gotcha. And obviously, the bigger the fan, the louder the system's going to be, right?
Depends again on that. I mean,
the construction or what?
Yeah. So the 4-inch pipe, if you're looking at a 4-inch pipe, and you go with our larger, like higher volume fan, it's got like 6-inch openings on each side. You might not want to put that right next to like a master bedroom window.
Sure.
Because it's not so much the fan; it's the exhaust at the top.
Yeah. And with the fan being attached to the pipe, how bad's the vibration on this? Not very. I mean, these are.
If there's a vibration issue, we'll come back and take care of it.
Yeah, okay. we have people call sometimes. They're like, "Is my fan on? Like, I can't tell." And it's like, "Well, we did put the manometer on there."
Yeah, you just go down and check it, and
exactly.
And then they say, "Yeah, the manometer." Then it's a great installation, is what you got, lady. But sometimes you can get some vibrations through materials and things like that.
You got ways around it.
But you guys can find ways around that. Awesome,
we'll
very
take
good,
care of it.
very good, very good. And then one of the things that. You guys are one of the only companies that do this, but I've been suggesting this since I started home inspecting, is you need a gosh darn access point so you can get in there and check your sump pump, people. Yeah. How many times we go in there and they got plexiglass. You can look into it, but you can't check it because it's bolted and cocked shut, And I'm like, a clean out, how simple is, and I have had a picture of one from you guys actually. I've been using it in my reports for a long time.
You had a short video that you posted. Yep, I saw that.
Yep. And having that little clean out access is crucial, so that you can get in there and test it. And it's just a 4-inch, 5-inch clean out. You drill the hole and put that in there, and now it's still airtight. So our mitigation system and our suction pit is still going to work fine, but we're going to be able to twist that off when we want to get in there and test our sump pump. Right. Yeah. Right. So you got a picture of one on the back.
So this one, it's a little hidden, but it is back there. It is that object right there in the back. It's basically just like like you said, a clean out.
Yep. A 4.5-inch hole. Reach your hand in there, pull your float up, or just dump some water in there.
Some water.
Typically, as well, we position it right over the float, make it easy for everybody. You're not reaching in there, not be able to reach it. Obviously, that wouldn't be good.
Yep.
Defeat the purpose. But yeah.
And every sump crock should be sealed.
Of course.
There's no reason to not seal it.
Right.
And even if you don't have a high radon level, sealing your sump crack's going to help reduce your radon level.
Yep.
So, but adding an access point in there so you can get in there and test it is crucial as well.
Right.
So,
And now we've seen too where, real estate transactions it'll happen, or just somebody that maybe doesn't want to, maybe doesn't believe in the radon, or, just wants to see their levels go down. But just putting a lid on it doesn't always work the best. Sometimes they can even make the problem worse.
you're gonna want to save that nugget for later.
Yeah, it can sand your slab, concentrate, come out somewhere else at, now a higher level, or just didn't stop it. So
You should write that down. Mystery box battle. You might need that.
Okay.
And then as far as the mitigation system, along with the mitigation system, the sealing the crock, the manometer, the fan, the electrical, the pipe above the roof line, there's one piece that we have to do to help our mitigation system function as well, is sealing up large cracks or openings in the foundation.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah. And how there's a lot of cracks in foundations and that aren't a problem for structure, but how far do you go before you guys are like, I think we got enough for the cracks done?
It's everything's always situational. That's really where you need the professional opinion in your house. Okay, getting a bid over the phone, that might get you a general idea, but the technician on site is going to tell you what really needs to be done. But generally what we'll do is, our rule of thumb is, if you can get a dime in that crack, we're going to probably try and seal it up.
Sure. Yeah. Because you'd be surprised how much air you can get out of a dime-sized crack.
Oh, yeah, especially when it's running 30 feet long.
Yeah.
Or if a customer's telling you water's coming up through them, obviously there's a pathway to get up there somewhere somehow, so that's also a good one to seal.
What are you guys sealing it with?
Well, we do use just a polyurethane. I mean,
sure.
If you want to fully stop your cracks, epoxy would obviously be better.
Yeah, pressurized epoxy.
We're doing it.
We're doing it economically for the radon purpose.
Yeah, and you're not going to get much bang for your buck when you talk about bringing somebody in to do pressurized epoxy into your cracks. It's just expensive.
But things like this too, and I do have a picture on here as well. We call it weeping wall, drainage board, whatever, what have you. But when a foundation company comes in and they put in this corrugated, I mean, that's directly attached to your drain tile.
Yeah, how do you deal with that?
We actually, obviously, as long as it doesn't void warranty, we make sure with the customer that isn't going to do that, but we do seal that as well.
Void the foundation warranty.
Yeah.
You got to seal that up. Otherwise, when I see a foundation repair or a drain tile issue or whatever, somebody's having wet, damp walls or whatever, I get why they're doing it, because they want any water that gets on the wall to run straight and directly into the drain tile.
Right.
But let's just keep the water away from the house.
Let's fix the problem at the source.
And I found that foundation companies are putting this in even when it's not like an actual weeping from the wall issue. They'll just put it in anyway.
Because they're doing the drain tile.
They're doing the holes in the block wall. They're putting that up. I get it, so it doesn't splash over. But it is again attached to the drain tile, and that's a big loss of pressure for us.
I don't know a way to do what they're trying to do and allow for what you guys are trying to do. I don't know that there is a way. As soon as you have air openings or air gaps, and you have to, you got to allow for water to get through in that system.
Well, realistically, like you said, if they're doing their installation correctly, then the weeping wall is really just like extra. A worst case scenario backup. And anytime we've called any of these companies, they're like, yeah, you can seal it. It won't void our warranty. It should never be used.
That's
anyways.
Cool. Right. Yeah. And the bigger companies around here, like Gatish and Accurate and all those.
We
work with them directly on a regular.
Yep, for sure.
It is really very important that we do seal these up, though. A lot of people don't want us to. We really do need to. It's not only a system loss and a radon entry point, but if our system is operating while this is open, we're drawing a ton of air out of that basement.
That radon gas is gonna the drain tile is gonna suck all that air down the side of the
wall. So we're taking out your heated air, your air conditioned air, but we're also going to cause backdrafting on any combustion appliances. Now you're getting carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and radon.
And your furnaces are going to run as well.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So that is kind of what the installation and mitigation looks like. You guys, I got a little bit of high speed myth or truth going on.
All right.
Oh boy.
So this is radon myth or truth. All right. You guys just tell me, is this a myth or is this true? You can expand if you need to, but we'll just kind of rapid fire through here. So something I've heard from past sellers, generally speaking, is radon is something that's made up by the government. Fake. Completely fake, right? I mean, it's a worldwide thing.
It's on the periodic table.
It's on the periodic table. Every country in the world recognizes a high level. Everybody, and we're gonna get into that in a little bit here, but they recognize a high level. And when was the last time the entire world coordinated on anything?
Right.
Agreed on anything, So definitely not a thing that's made up by the government, and it's not something that's new either. It's been around for 50, 60 years when they first did those.
Oh, it was discovered in I think the 19 teens or something by Madame Curie or Madame Curie herself.
Yeah, and the health studies that they did, I think I looked at was like 50 or 60 years ago.
Yeah,
they first did some of those things.
Discovered in home,
Yeah, and that's when those maps they like initiated the process to develop the maps and all that kind of stuff, and put all those infrastructure in place. Next one is drain tile issues can hinder mitigation systems.
True.
Yeah, bellies in there can stop the airflow and you're not getting suction. Yep. Yeah. The next one is radon is only a basement problem.
False.
Completely false, right? Yeah. We test in the basement, and the EPA requires to test in the lowest possible living space of the home. However, you have a furnace in your basement, guess what? All that furnace are getting circulated throughout. The stack effect doesn't even require a furnace, technically.
Well, slab on grade, crawl spaces. I mean, any form of structure can have.
Yeah, and just because you're in a condo or anything like that, and you're slab on grade doesn't mean you're safe from that. I mean, we mitigate those kind of things all the time.
Underneath your laminate floor, underneath your carpeting, guess what? There's cracks. Guess what's coming in through those cracks? Ground, soil, air, so that's radon gas, so definitely getting your home tested for sure. Passive mitigation systems work to reduce radon.
That's an in-between answer. It can.
A little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Not significant.
No. Right? There's no real good way to test it. I mean, you would have to cap your system and then test, and then uncap your system and tap and test again.
Yeah.
But if you have a proper, if it's ran properly and that pipe is being heated, that stack effect does draw.
A little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's measurable.
So passive stuff that all these new homes builders are putting in, I think it's more of a convenience for having a mitigation system put in.
Right. They can put on their, the contract or whatever that they have a radon system in, but is it a working radon system?
Exactly.
It's not on there.
Yep. And they don't usually know enough about radon and mitigation 100%. Stuff to really do anything about it. But it's a selling point, but it's also just a bonus, to add to the home. And PVC pipe, not very expensive. And when you're doing building the house, it's a house. The whole thing's
just
open.
Put
it up.
Why not?
Yeah, for sure.
Slap that on a brand new home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The next one is older homes are more likely to have radon problems.
False.
False.
It is false. Yeah. I mean, I some of the lowest readings I've had have been on stone foundation walls. It's 100%. Crazy. No drain tile, 2 foot thick walls.
Yep.
8 inch thick concrete.
Sometimes soil pouring in from a wall. I'm like, this has got to have an issue.
No. Yeah. It's crazy. The newer homes tend to have more issues. And part of it is that we're sealing up our houses tightly.
It's an energy envelope. For
sure. And it's just it is what it is. So older homes definitely usually in my experience, the older the home, the lower the radon level. After you get older,
depending on the remodeling phase, but they're just leakier too. I mean, they have a lot more fresh air that you don't even realize is getting in there.
For sure. The U.S. EPA standard of 4.0 is very high.
It's the highest standard in the world.
Yeah, probably one of them. Yeah, everybody else is using 2.7 and some other stuff. I had Germany's at 2.7.
Becquerels, they test in a different form, don't they?
It's a BPM or something like that. Yeah, they use a different volume measure. It's like basically 37 BPM is equal to 1 pico or 1 picocurie.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's just a different measurement. But Germany is at 2.7. Canada's at 5.4. Everybody's got a different level, but they all agree radon's a problem, and they're acknowledging that through these different levels. Right. The radon fan can be in your garage.
True.
Can be in your garage. All right. Radon mitigation fan can be on its own circuit, or has to be on its own circuit.
That's false.
Yeah. It's false. It can be on a combined circuit.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Radon mitigation pipes that run through the garage must have a fire collar.
True. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And fire collar basically.
Sometimes too.
Yeah. Fire collar basically is when the pipe protrudes through the wall. We need to maintain the garage's fire barrier. And do you have a picture?
I got a picture.
He's got a picture of fire. He's gonna bring one up. And basically, when the fire were to happen in the garage, this fire collar would expand and close that pipe up so the fire can't move in. There's an example. Yeah. Now, sometimes they're gray like that, and the other ones are red usually, right?
We used to use the red ones. These ones, honestly, I like these ones a little bit more just for installation purposes. But same thing.
Same thing. And it's basically, I don't know what the material is that they use in them, but
it's the same.
It's basically when it gets hot, it expands a lot.
Yes.
And the metal on the outside is going to force that expansion in, and as the pipe gets weak from heat, it's going to close that pipe off.
Right.
Yep. And it's not going to prevent fire forever, but it's going to buy you some extra time.
Yeah, those are 2 hour rated. Yep.
Oh, is that what it is? 2 hours? Okay, cool. The radon levels in a home can be affected by weather.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pressure, snow on the
pressure,
outside, rain on the outside,
and
saturation of the soil, heavy wind,
yeah.
And then the next one here, I don't have a basement, so I can't have a radon problem.
False.
completely false. Yeah. Radon levels are higher in winter.
True.
Oh, yeah, true.
Radon. I live in a third floor condo with a boiler heat. I can't have a radon problem.
That's false.
It's false.
You still can.
Still can.
It's
It's just
highly unlikely.
highly unlikely.
That high up, yeah.
Yep. And then the next one is radon fans normally last 15 to 20 years. We kind of covered that a little bit. It depends.
Here and there,
Everyone's
depends.
different. The warranty
Brand is
for about
different.
5 years, you said,
The
right?
warranties are all 5 years, and it depends where it's installed. Outside, they're going to die a little quicker. They're exposed to the elements.
Yep.
In a garage or an attic, they'll
Yeah,
last
garage
longer.
is kind of, that's
Gonna
one of
protect
the
it
main
a little
selling
bit.
points, yep.
Yeah. And then you can't install a mitigation system with a pedestal style sump pump.
True.
Well, you can. It's just not proper.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have this
Yeah.
garbage can bucket over the
No,
top
I mean,
of it, and it'd just be a hot
And
mess.
it's just, the chance, like, why would you want to chance that float being able to rise up?
Getting stuck.
It's just
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, you're messing
not
with your
worth
sump
it.
pump.
And all the sump pumps you guys are installing are in-crock type of submersible sump pumps.
Submersibles, yes.
Do they have an internal float or external float?
So it is on still, like, your pedestal system, obviously, the
Yeah.
way the float works. But, we stay away from the tether style floats just because
Okay, yeah.
you don't want those to get
More
caught on
likely to
drain
get
tile.
caught up on something.
Yeah. So, but it does have a float on it. It is external.
It's
float
external.
system. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think
'cause
the
I-
Zollers, the new ones that they put in the newer homes, have like
okay.
the sensor
Yep.
on it.
Yep.
I
Some of them have the
personally
sensor.
don't trust them. But
Yeah, some of them have that little ball on the inside,
Yes.
and it's a little taller sump pump,
Yeah.
but that's what that internal one is, yeah.
Right.
Let's see here. If you're not spending time in the basement, you don't need to worry about radon gas.
False again.
Yeah, it goes up through the house. The stack effect, furnace, all that kind of stuff. Even if you don't have a furnace, that stack effect is basically going to just generally move the air up through your home and stuff. So that is our little segment on myth or truth. Thanks
right.
for helping us out with that one, guys. Of course. Now the next one we have is the future of radon gas. So you and I are in charge of the world. What are we going to do? A number of different states have come up with different ways of trying to govern or regulate radon, right? Here in Wisconsin, what do we got as far as regulation with radon gas?
None.
Yeah, zero.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Zero, right?
Yeah.
Now, in real estate the transactions, if you're aware of a health concern in your home, you're required to disclose it. So if you knew you had a high radon level and you didn't tell somebody,
Right.
that you're committing fraud and you could get in big trouble.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
basically
actually a specific question. I think.
don't leave your windows open when we're coming to do a test.
Yeah,
Our
get
device
there.
will detect that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it
Oh,
detects
yeah.
pressure changes and temperature
Yep.
changes. Yeah, and if you're
Our device knows when
somebody's
it's moved too.
yeah. So if somebody's doing a test in your home and you guys leave a little instruction sheet behind, I always
Yep.
do. Yeah, it tells you what you need to do to follow the EPA protocols for testing. And if you try to violate those protocols to produce a low level in your home, you're committing fraud, and
Yep.
you can go to jail.
Right.
And it's not worth it.
No, no.
And
Right.
and I've had situations where I go back and the pressure changed dramatically, and I'm like, hey, did you guys? Oh yeah, it was a nice day out. Open up all the windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, dude, we can't do that.
Yeah.
So then I go back and I restart the test or whatever, and I
Yeah.
put little pieces of tape on all your windows.
Yeah.
So that,
Right. You
and-
got to tamper proof
yeah,
it.
and
yeah.
I need to be able to prove that my results are accurate.
Right.
And if you're going to do stuff that's going to counteract that, then we have a problem, you know? And I've also had where motion occurred, and
Yep.
it must have been my cat or my dog, or my
I've done
kid
that
must have
before,
bumped
for
it,
sure.
Yeah.
No
And I'm
way.
like, really?
Yeah.
So then I'm like, fine, I'll come back and redo the test, but the only way I'm not charging you is if I put a trail cam up in the room. So I'll set up a trail cam that's taking pictures every time there's
Snapshots,
motion
yeah.
or whatever, and then the guy comes, are you spying on me? No, I'm making sure that what you're telling me is accurate, that your kid's
Yeah.
touching it and stuff,
Yeah.
Because if you said your kid touched it at 2:00 in the morning, I'm going to have a picture of your kid touching it at 2:00 in the morning.
Right, right.
I need to
Right.
prove the results are accurate,
Right,
There's so many
right.
people that's trying to be,
Oh, I mean, I remember
Just
just
shady.
recently I had set one, and the home was vacant. It was already empty.
Yeah.
And I go there to pick it up, and it's the same guy. So I don't know why you try to do this, but he said, "Oh, I had a bunch of people moving stuff out of my house over the weekend, so that must have been what happened." Because I noticed that the pressure
changed, yeah.
And I'm like, when I set this test, the house was empty, so I don't know what they were moving out of it, but
Yeah, you had to be
Yeah,
a
go
line
ahead
of-
and retest for
Maybe
you.
it was a different guy that stopped by.
Yeah, yeah.
Just if you're having a test done, people do not commit fraud. Do not mess with the test. Okay, it's not worth going to
It's
jail
just not
over.
worth it.
Yeah,
No, definitely not.
or in a real estate transaction, you do stuff like that, you could end up buying your house back or getting all kinds of attorneys involved. I mean, who likes attorneys?
Right.
Nobody's raising their hand. Okay, no, I got you. But it's something that you don't want to mess with. So
Right.
just let the test happen. If you have a health problem in your home, it's your home. You're trying to sell it to somebody, and they want to make sure that they aren't going to have a problem,
right?
And that's fair. You know, that'd be like somebody showing up to buy a car and not want to take it for a test drive. Really? Come on,
right? You want to start it, huh?
Yeah, you don't. I'm not going to let you start the car, but you can buy it for this price. Really? Come on, it's just let's kick the tires here. Now, as far as the state of Wisconsin, like you said, we don't have any regulation as far as testing. We don't have any regulation as far as mitigation. If you're a reputable company, you're going to have education. You're going to follow the EPA protocols. You're going to have calibrated equipment. You're going to do all the things that a good business should have. Now, some states have gone the complete opposite of that. If you go down to Illinois, they require a rate.
Crazy.
I was gonna say we're surrounded by states.
I've had my professional license in Illinois. That's quite the different animal.
It's a different beast. Yeah, and just the certification part from what we do, you know. But when you're talking about real estate transactions, every house either has to have a test done or it has to have a mitigation system. That's it. You only have those two options, And when it comes to different states, similar laws like that are in Colorado, Florida, Maine. A bunch of other states have new construction regulations they're starting to change, which I think is really where this takes hold. Is that it changes with building code. And we build homes that are going to have mitigation systems already installed because we know it makes the home healthier.
Right.
And the cost to do so is negligible when you're talking about
compared to the cost of your home.
Right. I mean, what does it cost? A couple sheets of plywood?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, at $35 a sheet of plywood these days, it's kind of crazy, but ultimately, a mitigation system should be a part of every new home construction. Every home should be tested just for common sense purposes. I'm not saying that we need to mandate home testing, or real estate transaction testing. Real estate transaction testing would make more sense if we want to try to broadcast this, than going in and requiring every single home to be tested. Right.
That would be tough.
That would be tough, but doing it during a real estate transaction, it's $125 is what we charge. What do you guys charge for real estate transaction tests?
We're at 125 or 175.
175.
175. Yeah.
175.
I gotta up my prices, man. I gotta get with the times here.
Our test delivery drivers are busy.
Inflation, man. Inflation.
It's that priority status.
Yeah, I got my old man. He's still willing to work for $25 an hour. So we're right there. But me and him went and got certified together back in 2010 or whatever. So he's been setting up radon tests for me. Sure, it works out great because a lot of people selling their houses are older people, and he's older, so he'll Dad, why were you at that house for 45 minutes? Oh, we got to talking about golf and Tiger playing a good round that weekend. Just kind of what happens. But that's all cool. Tammy is our NRPP certified. So NRPP, AARST, those are like the certification professional organizations.
They hold all those.
There's a couple of other ones around, but like when we get a call from a relocation company or anything like that, they want somebody that's got that NRPP.
Oh, no doubt.
Whatnot, So Tammy's she maintains her NRPP certifications. We do need to have that. She's the one that does that and does both ends of it, Perfect. But I mean, it's something that I think there needs to be some regulation as far as guaranteed education and things like that. Because there's a lot of people out there that I bought something from Sun Nuclear. I'll test your house. They don't know nothing about radon. They don't know where to put it. It's just giving you bad information, and so it's hard for guys like you and I that are educated about it and have gone through the education and certification, the retraining and things like that that's necessary to stay up on what's going on in the industry.
Especially with something so changing as radon.
And I'm not saying that we need to, submit everybody to this, like Illinois, where they have the annual test and all this other stuff. And they got to take 40 hours of continuing ed and all this other BS, But at least at the very beginning, make everybody get licensed or certified in some way that they know something about it, that they're going to follow the basic protocol.
They should have some education.
And the radon stuff, the information about radon hasn't really changed in a long time as far as the testing protocols and things like that. I think the EPA is still using the same dang flyers.
EPA stuff, they use old protocols. It's not the current standards, but
system layout that you used to be able to have the fan in the basement, and that's just a no-no.
Yeah, it's a no-no. Yeah, why would you want it inside your building envelope, period? Because then if you have a leak in one of the fern coils or anything like that, you're just pumping all that radon.
Blasting concentrated radon in your house.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get a concentration of radon in your bedroom, son,
Right.
Bad deals.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the more likely way the future goes is having it a part of building code, having some sort of a certification test in not just Wisconsin, but everywhere, so that somebody that's going to go out there and test people's homes to make sure that their home is safe, at least has the basic knowledge of how that test should be done.
Right.
And then when it comes to mitigators, a test when you first start doing mitigation or whatever, to make sure you guys send your guys out to get certified and whatnot. So just having that basic knowledge, of what a mitigation system needs to be. And then with that, I don't think 40 hours of continuing education or whatever, but doing something reasonable, is I think maybe like a online test that they have to, like for the FAA because we are all drone pilots for our company because we fly drones to check out roads and stuff.
Yeah.
They have an online test that we got to take every 2 years, and basically is open book. So I can go look up what the new standards are and then take the test.
You need to be able to find the answers you're looking for.
Right. Exactly. Right. And then that test also proves that I know where they are and that I know what they are. You know what I mean? So I think there's some fair ways of doing it. States like Illinois have gone over the deep end with it, and they need to draw some of that stuff back or whatever to be more reasonable because they've turned a lot of people off to testing for radon. And people try to find ways around it.
In Illinois, it's FEMA, Illinois FEMA Department of Nuclear Safety. That's who I was dealing with the professional license. That's where I was sending my proposals to, my license certifications, all that. I mean, it was like that's intimidating.
Yeah, and while radon it does deal with slightly radioactive particles and things like that. It's very small. It's not. They make it sound like it's nuclear bomb stuff.
It's the same people inspecting the nuclear power plants. They're inspecting your radon system.
Ridiculousness. I tell you, ridiculousness abounds. So that is the future of radon gas. And I think we got some good solutions there. We should start running this world. You guys, we got some solutions here. The next thing we're gonna do,
easy peasy.
The next thing we're going to do is we're going to give away some stuff here today. So we have a giveaway question today. Now, the rules with the giveaway is if you've won a prize in the last month, you cannot win the prize tonight. But the person who wins the prize tonight will provide the answer closest to what I have written on the agenda for tonight. And the first person to put it either in the comments in the live show here, or if they put it in the comments when we do the replay, the first person that I see putting the answer in there wins. The last week we gave away a Nest thermostat and a Colonial Insurance hoodie. Ryan Anderson of Menominee Falls won that. Congratulations, Ando. And I'd love to see you win a drone today. We have a... what is this? This is an X-31 Shockwave drone. So I don't know if you guys can see that up there or not. But X-31 Shockwave drone, we're going to give this guy away to the first person who answers the question. This is a full-on remote control drone. Actually got a good price on them from Menards. They had 11% off, and the manager saw me walking up with like 10 of them, and he's like, "You're buying 10 of those things?" I'm like, "Yeah, 11% off, and you got an extra 20%." I'm like, "I'm buying." He's like, "Tell you what, you pay for 5 of them. I'll pay for the other 5 of them. You just tell them you got them from Menards, right?" Thanks, John Menard, for providing us with some drones, great little drone or whatever. I actually took one out and flew it around or whatever. It works great. And the same controls as our big ones and stuff like that. So it's not DJI like we were talking about, but it gets you started, and just make sure you don't fly around any airplanes or anything. All right, guys. So the question of today, what is the atomic number of radon according to the periodic table? So what is the atomic number of radon according to the periodic table? Don't say it.
Oh,
what is the atomic number?
I was wondering if I was playing.
No, you're not playing. You're ineligible, Chad. But what is the atomic number of radon according to the periodic table? First person to answer the question correctly in the comments down below or in the replay will win this X-31 Shockwave drone. All right. So thanks for watching, you guys. We appreciate you. Now the next thing we're going to do is we talked about the mitigation system. We're going to kind of fast forward to that. I made up a little bit of a fun mystery box. You watched some of the videos you said, TJ. Did you watch the mystery box battle?
I saw one of them, yeah.
All right, so those are the mystery boxes over there. Why don't you grab those boys? Let's lay them all out in front of Chad here.
Yeah, I do not know this game.
You do not know this? Oh, he's an underdog. All right, it's all right. Piece of cake. So the mystery box battle is basically there is a topic in each one of these that is they're alike. They're similar. So if we were going to talk about what kind of sheathing should I put on my house, okay, you could have OSB, you could have zip sheathing, you could have plywood, right? All three competing materials in the same realm, right? And today we have a question that we're going to answer with the topics that are in here, and I think it'll be good. It'll be kind of arguing against what you guys do on a daily basis a little bit, so you'll get that. Justin, do you know these guys? Do you know these cats?
Yes, he 100% does.
All right, Justin, let me know if you know these cats. I'll send the drone with them to work tomorrow if you want. So we basically have some topics in here that we're going to pull out, and we're going to try to kind of say my topic is the best for 1 minute. Okay. Now you can spend the 1 minute saying your topic is the best. Okay. And give all the reasons why, or you can do that along with saying why TJ's topic sucks and he's the worst. That's the worst way to do it, or however you want to do it. You can do battle. And we always ask the audience to participate a little bit and say who had the best idea, who wins the argument. Okay.
Yep.
But you guys are the guests, so pick a box, grab a box.
We each pick one or just one?
We each pick one. We each get one box. You go with that one. I'll go with this one. All right, open up your box and take a look at what you've got inside. Now, the question that we're asking here is, without a mitigation system, which will reduce your radon level the most? So without a mitigation system, which will reduce your radon level the most? So if you're stubborn and you're not going to go call up Lifetime Radon to get a free radon test, by the way, the phone number is 262-955-5701. Okay, if you're not going to call these guys and get a free radon test and talk to them about getting a mitigation system, and you're cheap, don't be cheap. All right, what are you going to do to your home to greatest effect of the radon level in your home? Okay, so I'll tell you what mine is first. Mine is seal coat all the walls in your basement. So like putting a basement whitewash on all your walls. Not talking about the problems that might bring, but I'm gonna argue that why this is the best option. Sure. Chad, what do you got?
I got seal your sump crock.
Seal your sump crock. Okay. And TJ, what do you got, man?
I got caulk all the cracks in the basement.
Caulk all the cracks in the basement. So we got. I think. If you did all of these, that would really be cool. But I don't think anybody is gonna necessarily. Okay, right. But a mitigation system properly installed with a sealed crock and a caulk, that's the best way to go.
Oh, for sure.
Right. But if we're not putting a mitigation system in, why is your way better than my way, TJ?
Oh man, let's see. Well, let's say you're dealing with a non-block wall. You're dealing with a poured wall. Not really much that's going to do to that. I mean, you get your occasional cracks. I think it is more rare and less porous than obviously a block wall would be. Yeah. More so with mine where it's kind of right above the soil itself. It's going to gravity or not gravity, but like we were saying, stack effect is going to pull that up through those cracks.
Every crack, yeah.
As well. So
sure.
I think, caulking those and stopping that at, more of a source is going to be a little bit more important than, the intrusion from outside into your walls.
I'll let you think that.
Okay.
All right. That's cool. I shouldn't be helping you.
That's okay.
I saw myself agreeing with you. I'm like,
hey,
stop.
You're competing
against this guy. What are you doing, man?
No, I get it.
Yeah. But okay, that's rationale is sound.
Sure. Yep.
Chad, what do you got? You're sealing the sump crock, man. Why is that the best?
I'm going to seal the sump crock long before I seal all the foundation cracks or seal coat the walls. Simple reason, it's got the largest direct connection to all the soil gas throughout the foundation. It's a free radon highway into your house. You can seal those, you can seal that, but if that's open, your levels are not going to change.
All right. I'm glad
he's got a good point.
TJ, you missed the point of the mystery box battle.
It's just something that good. I mean, I don't
know. Pretty sure I got the easiest.
Were you always in last place in baseball?
Oh, come on, man. Yeah, that's me.
I'm supposed to throw you strikes? Oh, sorry. Here's some other ball. Yeah, I'm not supposed to throw in the middle of the play. Oh, here you go. Hit a home run for me.
We give Chad the easy one. That's,
I did take it.
All right, so seal coat all the walls in your basement. You guys would be surprised at how often I see people do this stuff.
They think
we've had to do it.
They think they're doing it for moisture and all these other kinds of things. But okay, so seal coating the walls in your basement with a moisture sealant or a paint or something like that is going to seal up a lot of the porous surfaces, especially if you have like a porous masonry block and that kind of stuff. And that's going to basically stop gas from being able to enter into those areas. Yes, the cracks may form, but you can always repaint those areas, you know. But this way, we're going to stop all those areas. We're not going to talk about the crock, okay? But this could seal up some of the cracks, maybe a little bit. But ultimately, I'm going to coat my whole basement, which is all connected to the soil, and I'm not going to allow radon to come in those ways. You know, so I think this might be the way to go. If you're not going to be in a mitigation system, you can do it yourself. You can roll it on the walls with a paint roller. And there's lots of different brands out there. Some are thicker than others. I could even put 2 coats on if I want.
That's a lot. That's a lot of time
and money.
A lot of time. And
Just takes a nice little piece of plexiglass here, and polycarbonate's better.
All right. I see your points, you guys. So you guys, let us know who won this mystery box battle. Was it seal the walls and floor of your home with a seal coat?
Sealing your sump crack?
caulking all floor cracks.
Yeah, let us know who won this mystery box battle. Either way, if you're not going to get a mitigation system, I don't think you can go wrong with either 3 of these. Yeah. Obviously, I would always start with seeing the sump crack up. That's going to be your number 1 point of intrusion. And every house, even if you don't want to get a radon test for free from Lifetime Radon, or you don't want to do a radon test, you don't think it's real, whatever, you're going to stop the moisture from entering into your home too. So sealing up your sump crack is going to be a good idea. Always make sure when you seal up your sump crack, add an access point in there so you can get in there, test your sump pump occasionally. That's important. Probably the number 1. That would be number 2. This one, if you really feel, I know I just kind of killed myself in the ratings
nice if you admit that,
but TJ first place for installing systems. Okay, so he is. I think he's giving you props for being the best installer.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, but
he knows.
Ultimately, folks, a radon mitigation system is going to do a better job than all of this, okay? Yes. But getting it done professionally by Lifetime Radon Solutions will make sure the system is done properly, working properly, and is going to make sure your home is safe for you and your family. Now, in a lot of the blasting that I did on Facebook and all that kind of stuff, I said you have a deadly carcinogen in your home. All of you do. Even if you have a mitigation system in your home, you have radon in your home. And radon is a deadly carcinogen, is the number 1 leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers. It is a health hazard to you and your family. So you want to make sure that you know that condition of your home as far as health goes. So get that radon test done. Call these guys up for free. That number again, 262-955-5701, lifetimeradon.com. They'd be happy to help you guys out. Of course. Free questions, free radon tests, free estimates. Do you guys charge for anything?
Just the system.
Just the system. There you go. All right. Excellent. You guys, I really appreciate you hanging out with us here today. We always leave you guys with a tip of the week. So our tip of the week this week is going to be change your furnace filter at the end of October and every 6 months. Changing your furnace filter is not only going to make your furnace cleaner, you're going to have less dust in your home, you're going to have cleaner air, you're going to have healthier air. Changing that furnace filter doesn't cost a lot, doesn't take a lot of time. One of the best ways you can do it is go on Amazon, go wherever online source you want to get your filters from, and they'll have schedule purchase on there as an option. So schedule a purchase every 6 months, and when that furnace filter shows up at your home every 6 months, go down and put it in. It's that easy, and it doesn't take a lot of time, you guys. So make sure you change your furnace filter. It'll make you guys healthier, make your home cleaner in the end. And one other tip with this is when you're putting your furnace filter in, take a long piece of blue tape and put it on the bottom, put one on the top, and leave yourself a tab so you can easily pull that in and out. So you can grab it, pull it out. It makes it a lot easier, and that tab will fold over with the cover.
Sure.
So, piece of cake. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Next week we have Mike Severson coming in, and we're going to be talking kind of like what it takes to get your home ready for winter. So we're going to talk about winterizing your home, winterizing your plumbing system, taking care of getting your furnace up and running for the first time, putting away your air conditioner. We're going to talk about all the things that you need to do to maintain your home and get it ready for winter here in Wisconsin. Granted, Texas might be a little different, but we're talking Wisconsin here, right? But thanks again for tuning in, you guys. Really appreciate you. If you wouldn't mind, hit that subscribe button down below, bell notification to let you know when we got new stuff coming out. Thumbs up if you like this stuff. If you have any comments, things where you would like to have us bring some topics to you so you can learn more about your home, we'd be happy to entertain those and design episodes solely around your suggestions. But thanks for tuning in, you guys. Really appreciate you. And remember, you guys, the better you take care of your home, the better it's going to take care of you. Thanks, Lifetime, for coming in, guys. Appreciate you.
Yep.
All right. Thanks.
Of course.
See you next time.